إذا رح نكون مع حوارية إضافية مع مؤسس حاسوب المبادر حسن أبو شعلة والسيد يوفال خوفشي بعد شوي.
So now we'll be with Yuval Hofshy, CTO of Echo. Yuval, we're very glad to have you with us today, and thank you for being here and for supporting our conference this year. I would like to start, Yuval, on the personal level, as we discussed during our call, and tell us a bit about yourself and your career.
First, thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited. Few words about myself. So I've been programming most of my life. I started programming at the age of 12, started making some money out of it at the age of 16. I'm still doing a lot of hands-on programming. But my career path is kind of weird in a way. I didn't follow a path. I usually followed my passion, and it took me to startups and corporates, work in different industries, from like consumer electronics and telco to the cloud and distributed systems that serve millions of users, from firmware to Node. And after so many years, I'm kind of old compared to the industry, 45. I'm still excited about technology and about people and how it can be used to create like new things, and still feels like art to me. That's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So you definitely didn't go the conventional and the usual way in developing your path and paving your way in the high-tech field. And just one more personal question, maybe: how do you keep yourself motivated? Going through all the different roles in the industry, and then getting to the CTO role. How do you keep enthusiastic about the technology and about what's happening?
I don't know. I really like technology and programming, so I think it's like my main hobby. But on top of that, there's like writing software and there's like the business of software, which I'm also. Technology in general changes how we do stuff, changes our perception or daily life, and it's not just like the technology or the software or the algorithm, it's how they actually affect people, how they make them feel. And every time we kind of invent something new and people are exposed to something they've never seen before, that actually changes something in their life. Can be something, big and dramatic. It can be just like pure entertainment, but it's still exciting. I can tell you that I started more in like the B2B business and building all kind of systems that I was really excited about from technology perspective. And around 20 years ago, I landed on a great opportunity at M Systems. We invented the USB flash drive back then. It was something completely new. It was my first experience with building a product that I wanted to use myself. First time, my mother understood what I'm doing for a living. And since then, this is basically what keeps me motivated. Build stuff that I want to use on a personal level, and the people around me are using.
Nice. So I sensed also during our call that you're also very interested in the social impact in technology, but also the social aspects around the high-tech industry. So we discussed a bit about the diversity and inclusion in the high-tech field, and I would like to have some of your insights about how the current pandemic and the new normal that we're living currently in can change or accelerate the diversity and inclusion in the high-tech industry.
Okay. So first, I wish we had more time because there's so many things to say. And diversity is a big word, and I want to talk about a very specific angle of diversity, which is the location. And whether we like it or not, the core of our industry is located around Tel Aviv area. And this has been on my mind for a while on how to get more people involved in the tech industry, people that live in the north or in the south. And when I'm thinking about, like, for example, we work very closely. Most of our company is located in New York. And if you were born in a small town like in Middle America and you wanted to join like the tech industry, you'd probably move to the Valley in New York or any other big city with a tech scene. I think the same applies to here as well. And again, there are many great initiatives related to like bringing the tech scene to the north and to the south, and I'm really excited. Looking at the state of affairs and what's happening out there, most of the cutting edge technology and opportunities are still in the center. And it's a challenge to move to the center, and it's a challenge to apply for a job at a company that is located away from home. And I think that so many things are changing with COVID. And there are a lot of opportunities now because the perception of what the office is changes dramatically. Some think that office is not going to be needed anymore. I have to admit, on a personal level, I'm not. I'm a big fan of office space. Many things.
Some of the hybrid model.
But the hybrid model, I believe, is here to stay. And I think it makes, you can call it lightweight relocation if you want, to the center easier than ever. And I think, the Arab tech scene will probably benefit from having people working on core technology, even like for like few years and then going back home to start a company. It's an experience that unfortunately can only be, or most chances can be achieved in the center.
Yeah, sometimes the issue in moving to the center is not just a geographic issue. So it's not that easy to scale down maybe the model of the US of moving to big cities because there's the cultural issue as well. So a lot of the the young people that hesitate to move is because of the cultural aspects that moving the families and living in different culture, stuff like this.
I agree. It's hard. I think it's worth the effort. Again, you can think about that as a relocation. It's not as if you like go forever, but I think that gaining experience, and I think the Israeli tech scene as a whole will benefit. I think our society as a whole will benefit more. We work together, and I know it's far from being easy, and there are so many challenges involved. But I really believe it's key.
You mentioned something. During our call, you mentioned something about the agents of change, maybe, or the ambassadors that help facilitate this change, especially within smaller startups like Echo. So, for example, the fact that Luay Ghalia is now working in Echo, it maybe help moving it from the 0 to 1 change, which will help facilitate more change. So maybe you can shed more light on that.
Yes. So Luay has been working with us for I think a year and a half now, or more, and he's a real pioneer. He's actually did a bold move, moving to Tel Aviv, knowing that this is basically what he wants. And not only he's really smart and amazing guy to work with, he opens the door. For example, even this conversation, he actually made that happen because it's kind of like an isolated ecosystem in a way that I wasn't even aware of. So I kind of open the door, and I think it's really key. And those ambassadors or pioneers or whatever you want to call them can make it easier for others. And I really encourage everyone that hears us now to outreach and to talk to why. I know there are so many challenges again involved. Things are not always easy, but we spend a lot of time together talking about it. I think it's really worth the effort. I think it
that would be great. Yeah.
I think he can open the door for many others, and he could probably provide better answers to all the challenges involved because he's been facing them.
That's great. That's great. I want us to move a bit now to Echo. So if you can tell us a bit about Echo and what's unique about Lai told me a lot of unique things about the culture and the values of the company, and I would love to hear more about what Echo does and what's unique about its culture and vision. Yuval?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, hi, here you are.
Hi again.
Yeah, sorry, this is part of the new normal.
Yes, the new normal. Yeah. Having
Yeah.
Zoom issues is the new normal.
Yeah, definitely. So I was asking about Echo. So I'm very interested in hearing more about the company. And Lai told me a lot about the unique culture and values of the company. And I also want to hear about your vision, like your vision at Echo. So what the company does and what's the vision?
Okay, so Echo is a company. We've been here for a decade now. We're developing a platform for interactive video, which is a fancy way to say that we turn video streams from linear and static experiences into something that is fully interactive and dynamic and changes in real time, just like the rest of the internet.
Can you give us an example of
different companies build different applications on top of our technology. I can give you a few examples. It starts from entertainment. So it's pure storytelling, choose your own adventure type of movies, to games that are heavily rely on a video stream as their core rendering engine. It is being used for e-learning, as instead of like having static video, it's kind of like the quizzes and the tests and everything happen as part of the video stream, and everything changes dynamically. It is used in corporate training, HR, product, and the list goes on and on. I think what's interesting is our focus on e-commerce, which started before COVID, but this year we had to change everything and focus mostly on e-commerce as the world changed in front of us.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting, Yuval, because we're seeing now a shift, due to the pandemic and the new normal in the e-commerce world itself and in the ecosystem around the e-commerce world. So can you, elaborate more about that?
Of course. So we partnered with Walmart a couple of years ago to basically try to create new models of e-commerce. When you think about it, e-commerce has been with us for like a few decades now, and it is mostly focused around, let's call it functional commerce. How those funnels look, the idioms that kind of served as inspiration for e-commerce from day one till today are based on the good old catalogs that companies use to ship in like real email. So you have product pages with images and all kind of information, and you have category pages, and all the technologies that are usually involved in e-commerce are all about removing the friction. What does that mean is, the statistics of e-commerce, it's huge. It's a huge market. So billions of dollars are being spent every year in e-commerce. And now we see a dramatic growth this year. And just even like as an end user, when you think about it, all the technologies that are introduced are all about removing friction, making it easier to buy to give you less opportunities to regret. The main challenges in e-commerce is how to get people to add things to the cart and then make sure that they actually get to the checkout. The statistics are around less than 1% from visits end up with you buying something. And they always try to optimize that. So it starts with all kind of mechanisms, to the website, to Alexa, that you can just ask for milk and it gets right in your door in like a couple of hours. We're taking a different approach because when you think about commerce and you zoom out a little, those functional purchases are only a subset of what's really happening in the world. And it's kind of interesting because when you think about shopping, for example, shopping is an experience that is both emotional. You don't really know what is it that you want to buy. You want to explore, you want to get inspiration, you want to go walk around the mall and find products you would never think about.
Yeah, so it's more about the shopping experience itself and the emotional part involved in it. Yuval, so there's a lot of innovation happening around not just the checkout and buying experience, but about the shopping as an emotional experience and exploratory experience as well. So Yuval, sorry, the time is running. We're running short on time. They want to finish with a final tip that you want to give to entrepreneurs, to students and technologists, or to the public crowd. Just one quick tip.
Okay, so I think that if you are like into running your own company or venture, I really think e-commerce is where you want to start looking at. This year, it's ramping and there's tons of opportunities there. Feel free, by the way, if you're listening now, to ping me and love to discuss. This is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
For students, I encourage you to talk to Luai, relocate to the center, at least for like a couple of years. And I think, again, it's going to be amazing for all of us. And for the public crowd, it's a cliche, but as the saying goes, the only constant thing in life is change. And I think this year, we're seeing that happening big time. It's scary sometimes, but it opens the door for like tons of opportunities. So take a look on the bright side.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Yuval, and thank you, Echo, and the team at Echo. So thank you very much.
For having me.
Thanks a lot.